Hare Krishna, everyone, and welcome back once again to our ever ongoing series on the glories of our most beloved Sri Vrindavan Dham. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Disha Tarane. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we're continuing with our mini-series on stimulations for ecstatic love, and this will be part 149, in which we'll continue our discussions on Radha and Krishna's disguises. In this lecture, we will discuss another very unique disguise in which Krishna assumed the form of his devotee, and that devotee is Jayadev Goswami. Jayadev Goswami was a great Vaishnav author and poet who appeared in the 12th century, about 300 or 350 years before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's most famous, of course, for his work Gita Govinda, the Gita Govinda, wherein he describes the loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Now, this very historical pastime is as follows. One day, in the late morning, as Jayadev was writing Gita Govinda, his wife Padmavati was cooking their lunch. This is taking place in Bengal. At one point, Jayadev started writing how in Krishna's pastimes it appeared Krishna was controlled by the love of the gopis, in particular Srimati Radharani, and as a result, he was subordinate to them. So Jayadev started thinking how to write a particular sentence in this regard, but he stopped short, saying to himself, how can I write such a thing? Krishna is the supreme controller. By definition, actually, God is the supreme controller. But he was thinking, how can he be controlled by the gopis and Srimati Radharani? So we call that writer's block. So he decided to take a break from his writing to think about it. So he told his wife, Padmavati, that he was going to go out and take bath in the Ganges, and he would be back soon in time for lunch. So then, one of the most amazing things in our Gaudiya Vaishnava history took place. While Jayadev was away, Krishna, disguised as Jayadev Goswami, he looked exactly like Jayadev Goswami, came back into Jayadev's house, or came into Jayadev's house, and he walked in. Padmavati's cooking, she didn't see anything unusual. And Krishna, in this disguise, went to Jayadev's desk, picked up that special pen for writing, and wrote at that place where Jayadev had hesitated to write. Shmara Gharla Kandhanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam Dehi Pada Palavam Udharam Dwalati Maye Dhanana Madana Kadana Ana Haratu Tat Upahita Vikram. He wrote, speaking to Srimati Radharani, who was displaying jealous anger towards him, Krishna implored, O beloved, your tender sprout-like feet are the antidote to Cupid's venom. Please place them on my head as my ornament and glory. The scorching fire of Cupid's poison is unbearable. Please, therefore, let the touch of your feet quell the torment of my love. Now the most famous line is, Dehi Pada Palavam Udaram, meaning, please place your feet on my head as my ornament and glory, indicating very clearly that Krishna is controlled by Sri Radha's love. So with that, Krishna, disguised as Jayadev, sat down and took the prasadam that was prepared as lunch by Padmavati. And after finishing this prasadam, Krishna, as Jayadev, told Padmavati that I'm a little full now, I'm going to go for another walk. So he left. And just a few minutes later, the real Jayadev Goswami returned from, bathing in the Ganges. And as he walked in, he asked his wife Padmavati, when will prasadam be ready? And Padmavati was shocked. What do you mean? You just, you came in, an hour ago, and then you walked over and wrote something, and then you took prasadam, and you told me you're going to take another walk. So when Jayadev heard this, he was astonished. And he went over to his desk, and he saw there in wet ink, particularly, that verse with the particular line, Dehi pada palavam udaram. Please place your feet on my head as my ornament and glory. And he realized what happened. And he screamed very loudly, it's a miracle, it's a miracle, it's a miracle. And tears of ecstasy flowed from his eyes. And he called out, Padmavati, you are most fortunate, for Krishna himself has visited our house, obviously. And he has written the line, Dehi pada palavam udaram, and accepted prasadam from your own hand. And realizing this historic event, they both fainted in ecstasy. So Krishna intervenes. He took the disguise of Jayadev Goswami to reveal to the world how Krishna is controlled by the love of his devotees, in particular the Brajabasis, and in particular Srimati Radharani, because she has the greatest love for Krishna. So when Jayadev Goswami finally finished Gita Govinda, he concluded it with a very, very beautiful prayer as follows. He wrote, whatever is delightful in the varieties of music, whatever is graceful in fine strains of poetry, and whatever is exquisite in the sweet art of love, let the happy and wise persons learn that from the songs of Gita Govinda. Of course, it's a very advanced work. It's actually meant for very advanced devotees, but very beautiful. So our acharyas have written that after Jayadev Goswami completed Gita Govinda, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to him and gave him his blissful darshan and revealed to him that he would one day appear in Navadvip to inaugurate his Sankirtan movement. Remember that Jayadev appeared before Lord Chaitanya. And then Mahaprabhu instructed Jayadev Goswami to shift from Bengal to Orissa to Jagannath Puri, and that he himself, Lord Chaitanya, would later come to Jagannath Puri and relish Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda. So Jayadev moved with his wife to Puri. And from there the fame of Gita Govinda spread, first throughout Orissa, then Bengal, and then throughout all of India, and now in many ways around the world. And as time went on, that Gita Govinda was being read and sung to Lord Jagannath every day. It became a standard practice, actually. And I was reading that many years after the departure of Jayadev Goswami, a king of Puri, specifically King Purushottam Deva, insisted that his own work, called Abhinava Gita Govinda, was superior to Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda. And he's the king. So he said that his work should be read to Jagannath, to Lord Jagannath every day, and not Gita Govinda. So there were some objections. And due to the politically sensitive nature of the challenge, because the king, the temple priests, who are very powerful in Puri, decided to let Lord Jagannath judge for himself. So how did they do that? Well, one evening they placed both of these books before Lord Jagannath, both the king's and Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govindas. And then they locked the temple up for the night. They placed the two books right before Lord Jagannath, closed the doors, locked them. And the following morning, when those priests opened the temple doors, lo and behold, they found the pages of the king's book scattered all over the floor. And Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda nestled under Lord Jagannath's arm, close to his heart. So the Lord had given his verdict. Jayadev Goswami ki Gita Govinda. Krishna disguising himself as Jayadev Goswami to give that important line, ki Jai. So there's another pastime, which I'll share with you, that took place about 300 years after Jayadev Goswami had departed this world. And on that occasion, Lord Jagannath in Puri had been laid down to sleep after his midday meal, when a florist started singing Gita Govinda in a garden near to the temple grounds. Now Lord Jagannath was so eager to hear this spontaneous performance of his favorite work, because he hears it every day, that he actually left the temple and he hid in a bush nearby where this florist was collecting flowers, etc. He hid there. But the thing is, at that particular kunja, there were lots of thorns and brambles and bushes. So as Jagannath was hiding there, these thorns and brambles were ripping his cloth and actually scratching his body. So he was oblivious to this, because Jagannath was relishing Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda being sung by this florist. So a little while later, Lord Jagannath returned to his altar in time for the opening, in the late afternoon, the opening of the temple on the altar for the pilgrims to come. And when the door opened, the priests were shocked at the sight, it's described, of their ragged and wounded Lord. Wait a minute, we closed the door a few hours ago. Now we're opening. What happened to Jagannath? So afraid, they all ran to tell the king, who at that time in history was the famous Mahaj Patapurudra. And he was unable to determine what had happened to Lord Jagannath until a couple of days later, well, a few nights later, Jagannath appeared to him in a dream one night and explained exactly what had happened. So in that pastime, Lord Jagannath once again revealed his exclusive attachment to Gita Govinda. So historically at that time, Maharaj Patapurudra issued the following royal edict, exactly a decade before Lord Chaitanya arrived in Puri. It was a royal edict to everyone in Jagannath Puri, a declaration by the king. And here it is. It's recorded. To all citizens of Jagannath Puri, performances of song and dance for Jagannath and Balaram will consist solely of Gita Govinda and no other work. Performers are therefore instructed to learn the songs of Gita Govinda exclusively. 4 musicians will accompany the dancers who enact Gita Govinda. Others may follow in chorus. Temple officials who allow any other song to be performed will be deemed enemies of Jagannath. Temple officials who allow any other song to be performed will be deemed enemies of Jagannath. The king's decree. So to the credit of the temple management in Jagannath Puri, this tradition is still being carried on to the present day. Hare Krishna. I thought that was an interesting disguise that our beloved Krishna assumed, Jayadev Goswami. So thank you, Prabhus. We'll be back again next Friday, as always. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki, Vrindavaneshwari Shrimati Radharani ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Krishna Sankirtan Yagya ki, Nitai Gaur Piminandi, Jai Jai Sisi Radhe Shyam, Jagannatha Swami ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Rival.